welcoming to the stage again here is a man that just got his bachelor's degree last year from Southampton Solent University and is also working on his PhD. He's going to talk about high-intensity exercise, the lower back. Give him a round of applause. James Steele II. James Steele II. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, I knew that was going to happen. There we go. There we go. Got it. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, bending over too much. Okay, guys. Right. I'm hoping that this talk isn't going to bore any of you too much. I was a bit sort of apprehensive about talking about this topic to you guys. It's a big interest of mine, obviously. I'm doing my PhD in it. I'm doing a lot of intensive research on it. So for me, it's very interesting. So I had to think quite a lot about how to relate it to you guys. And really, I kind of thought about how prevalent it is, yet how unpretentious the nature of chronic low back pain is. I mean, like, who here's had back pain, got back pain, knows someone with back pain? That's probably about 80% of you, which corresponds to the research figures, quite interestingly. But anyway, yeah, just really to kind of give you an introduction of how I kind of got into it, because a lot of people ask me that. They say, you know, how did you get into back pain? It's a bit of a weird topic. Like Peter said, I've just finished my bachelor's degree in applied sports science. Before I started that, I was very interested in kind of like exercise and how it relates to health and fitness, despite their shady definitions, and the effect that exercise can have on the body. So I went and did an applied sports science degree with my main focus being on exercise physiology. At that time, I was getting introduced to kind of the concepts of high intensity training. I'm sure you guys are aware of like Drew Bay, Doug McGuff, Arthur Jones, and I was reading their works. I was reading Mike Mentz's works at the time, and kind of coincidentally, when I then got to Southampton Solent to start my degree, one of my lecturers there was involved with some research using the MedX equipment. We specifically had a MedX lumbar extension machine there. And it was quite interesting that I was just reading all of Arthur Jones's works at the time, and I kind of arrived at the university and was like, MedX, where do I know that name from? And I was like, oh yeah, Arthur Jones invented that. And I got involved with the research, and it kind of stemmed from there. I really developed my interest in high-intensity training, went back, looked at all the research, was thoroughly convinced by the evidence supporting it, and then moved through kind of the same way Arthur progressed from high-intensity training involved with Nautilus, and moving through to strength testing and then rehabilitation for the lower back and other parts of the body as well. And looking through the research, I saw that there are a lot of big holes in our understanding of predominantly what might be the main causative factor of back pain, and potentially how we can try and treat that and try and either prevent it or rehabilitate it for people who suffer from it. So today's talk, I'm going to try and kind of first of all introduce, why care about it? What's it to you guys, whether you've got back pain? I mean, yeah?
Because I have it right now, and it's incredibly annoying.
Yeah, exactly. Gentleman's just said, it's really, really annoying, like to just have this chronic pain around you like the whole time or recurrently, popping up, popping down. It's really annoying, and kind of relating to other themes in the conference as well. If you've got bad back, maybe bad posture, it doesn't look so attractive, doesn't really convey the kind of message you'd want to maybe women or other people you're trying to build relationships with. So we're going to talk about why is it important to care about it. We're then going to discuss maybe why is it so prevalent. So many of you have got it, so many people have got it. The figures are really high, but if they're so high, there's got to be something that's causing it, something that's having a real impact on it, and something that's meaning that it's going to, that it's kind of permeates our society. So I'm going to go through some of my ideas based on my reading around the literature of what the main sort of like associations with lower back pain are, and what I think has the most influencing factor on why the majority of people suffer from it. We're then going to kind of cover what you can actually do about it, because it's all well in back pain, this is causing it. or this might be causing it, this is the main factor. Great. Now what do I do? It's good to have some information of, how can you tackle it? How can you deal with it? How can you do something about it? How can you improve your situation? Because that's the main reason why all you guys are here, getting information and learning how to apply it and improve, your lives basically. And then I'm going to spend a bit of time just kind of going over what I'm doing and the impact I kind of envisage that my research is going to have, and talking to you a bit about what specific areas I'm looking at and why I'm looking at them, and how that kind of like is involved with lower back pain rehab. And then we'll kind of conclude and we'll have some time for questions. Just in case any of you aren't aware, although I'm pretty sure most of you are, that's the lower back. The bottom 5 lumbar vertebrae, and that's where my main area of interest is. So anyone's got questions above there or below there? I don't want to step outside my area of expertise, so I can give you an opinion, but if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, and I won't be able to answer the question. But anything in between those 5 vertebrae, I've probably got the knowledge that I can give you a good answer on it. So try and save your questions for something relevant. Okay, so why care about the lower back? Well, first thing to do is to give back pain a definition. What is back pain? If we're going to learn how to tackle something and why it's even important to care about it, we need to kind of define it and know what it means. Like Anthony was saying yesterday, some words and some definitions have lost meaning over the years. So to tackle a problem, you need to be able to define it and know what the problem actually is. Well, back pain is usually described as a kind of tension or a soreness or stiffness. There are all these kind of words that are used to describe what is essentially an overarching kind of condition in the lower back. Like you say, any of these things, tension, soreness, stiffness, sharp pains, anything like that, they can be annoying and they have an impact on our lives. We also kind of categorize lower back pain into various different sort of like subcategories. Now, acute pain is what we consider sort of short-term pain, so lasting anywhere up to sort of like 12 weeks. And acute pain would usually be involved with, an injury, maybe a sports injury, maybe you trip down the stairs, or anything that puts your back out, so to speak, and causes a pain. And usually, in the majority of cases, acute pain kind of resolves itself almost kind of naturally. Even the research suggests that it doesn't really matter what you do, the actual pain will tend to go away after about sort of at most, up to that sort of like, that's the 12 weeks, 2 weeks. After that sort of like initial 2-week period. The problem is, it's when the pain doesn't go away after those periods. And it turns into what we then categorize as subacute pain and eventually develops into chronic pain. And chronic pain is any pain that's lasted for a longer period than 12 weeks. And usually in those cases, it's when it develops into years. I've got some people who are involved in my research who I do my testing and rehab with, who some of them have had pain for 30 years. They've spent their whole life in pain, basically. And that's no way to lead your life. You want to be happy, don't want to be suffering. One of the other kind of problems with it, and I was speaking to a gentleman earlier about it, is it's very difficult. Actually, it was a cameraman. It's very difficult to give back pain in a lot of cases a diagnosis. I mean, we'll go on to it in a second, but there are a lot of different things associated with back pain that may be or may not be causing pain. They may be or may not be affecting the joint's biomechanics and then having a subsequent impact on other structures which may elicit a pain response. They may or may not be affecting function, so how the joint biomechanics actually function. So a lot of the time it's very difficult to say, right, you have back pain and this is causing your back pain, or this is causing the pain that you're experiencing. It may be nerve impingement, it may be disc degeneration, disc sensitization, or it could be ligamentous, it could be muscular, it could be actual muscular strain or sprain. But in the majority of cases, diagnosis comes up short. So people are labelled as non-specific. You've got back pain, but we've no fucking idea what's causing it. So in those cases, it's very difficult to then say, oh, if we've got no idea what's causing it, how the hell are you supposed to know what to do about it? And this is where the majority of my kind of like research is involved with. It's dealing with, what is probably causing that non-specific category, because it's around 85% of people with chronic low back pain have this non-specific category given to them. And it's only that sort of like 15% that you can say, you've got this problem, you've got this specific pathology, this specific condition with your lower back, and that's definitely causing you pain. So I'm focusing on kind of like, how can we figure out what's causing that, or what may be the predominant cause of those non-specific cases, and then how can we address that?